Hi, we are all here from the Norwalk Partnership to share a video for Norwalk parents about what you should know about vaping and your kids. I'm Margaret Watt. I'm a parent of two teenagers here in town, and I work at Positive Directions. I'm part of the leadership team of the Norwalk Partnership, which is our community coalition to prevent substance use in our kids.
Hi, I'm Diamond Seed. I'm also here as a parent of two elementary schoolers here in the Norwalk community. I am here wearing two hats, actually, one being part of the leadership team for the Norwalk Partnership and also being the coordinator of the school-based health centers here in the Norwalk Public Schools.
Hi, I'm Dana McCary. I'm the project coordinator for the Norwalk Partnership and Coalition, and I'm also a Norwalk parent.
Hi, I'm Ben Fitzgerald. I'm an AmeriCorps member serving with Prevention Corps at Positive Directions in Westport and the Norwalk Partnership here in Norwalk. I'm also a graduate of P-TECH Norwalk.
So parents, you've probably heard a lot about vaping and whether it's an epidemic, and your kids may be telling you that there's vaping happening all over the schools. So we're here with the good news that actually most kids aren't vaping, but it is a concern and you should be talking to your kids about it. So we want to share some information with you. First of all, what is a vape? It could look like this, which is a kind of old school mod. It could look like this, a pen. Here's a vape that I found on the Tracy Elementary School playground, which is not a place where I would like to see kids vaping. And here's a different kind of vape. All of these are devices that kids can use, or adults, to ingest vape, which is not vapor, which is aerosolized chemicals like nicotine or marijuana directly into their lungs to get a high.
Right. Are all Norwalk teens vaping? So good news, 94% of Norwalk middle and high schoolers don't vape, according to the Norwalk Youth Survey, which we conducted in June 2021. And this is an important point to address because a lot of people have the perception that all of their classmates are vaping. And when people think that vaping is something that everybody's doing, it becomes really easy to talk yourself into vaping as well. I remember that when I was at Norwalk High School, when I'd go into the bathrooms and I'd see people vaping, it really was all the same faces. And in your friend groups, there are mainly only certain friend groups that really vape, or there's mainly one main person in your friend group who's really into vaping. So it really isn't as common as people think. And in terms of what Norwalk students are vaping specifically, people are vaping many different substances. So about 50% vape some kind of tobacco, but 43% vape some form of marijuana as well, and 32% vape some sort of liquid flavor. Just a side note that these percentages don't necessarily have to add up to 100% because some people vaped multiple substances. And there was also a group, about a third of the people who reported vaping, they claimed that they didn't know what substance they were vaping. So obviously that last statement especially is very problematic because if people don't know what substance they're vaping, they can't be fully aware of any health issues that might come with it.
They're just taking a hit off whatever someone hands them.
Exactly.
So how does vaping affect our teens? This is where the school-based health center comes in because we see it in a lot of different ways. When we talk about vaping nicotine, we really see that with the athletes and how it affects them, whether they're running, playing football, having to get a ball down the court in basketball, and just being out of breath, fatigue, really not being able to play to their best capability. And also the popcorn lung. At the school-based health center, we don't see it as much, but we do refer once they identify that they do vape, we do refer out for them to get further testing to see how it is affecting their lungs. So the quicker that we catch on to it, the quicker that we could save a lung. As we all know, you can get your healthy lungs back if it's not too much damage done to it. When we talk about marijuana, we talk about the risk of addiction and just the kids not even really realizing how addictive it is, or even realizing that it's a problem because it's not nicotine, as they say, it's just marijuana. But as you guys see in the slide, they do lose IQ points as well as addiction and what we don't like to talk about, but we should talk about more, psychosis.
a whole lot of mental health issues from marijuana. In fact.
Right. So is it addictive? If you ask our kids, they'll probably say no. Which actually, when I am in my SMART group, when we talk about nicotine, they will talk about how addictive it is. But when we talk about marijuana, they beg to differ. So I think when we're talking about what nicotine versus marijuana, it's two different discussions to have with your teens. And it's also very important to remember, to emphasize the importance that marijuana can be addictive and can be a gateway drug as well.
So when you're talking to your kids about this, one thing that you should know and emphasize is even if they see kids vaping at school, it's illegal. They're breaking the law. So in addition to the health concerns, it's just something they shouldn't be doing. There's a reason that all these substances are now illegal under 21, and that's because it affects brain development. We know that kids who use substances when their brains are still forming can cause permanent brain damage. So the law for cigarettes and any form of nicotine changed a few years ago, just like alcohol, just like Connecticut's new marijuana law, everything's illegal under 21. Unfortunately, however, we have an industry that makes money off selling products like these to youth, because if kids start smoking any form of cigarette or vape, if they start using substances or drinking when they're young, that forms a lifelong consumer for the industry that makes money off of them. And so vapes are absolutely aimed at kids. They have come in flavors like mango and bubblegum. They sell vapes in products that can be disguised, so it looks like the flash drive you put into your computer. We have seen kids, they're wearing a sweatshirt or a hoodie and they're holding their hand like this, and it's because coming right out of the sleeve is something that they can use to vape in class or in your household. So you really have to be having honest conversations with your kids, looking at their stuff, noticing their behaviors. And a new thing that kids are using sometimes is these little pouches, nicotine pouches that you can get like Zyn. They've been around for a while, but right now they're kind of being marketed as tobacco free because they don't have tobacco in them, which is the plant product, but they do still contain nicotine, which is the drug from tobacco. All of these things are being aimed at kids. Definitely talk to your kids about how dangerous these are for them.
Why do students vape? Well, normally students vape because they want to socialize with other students, peer pressure, fitting in groups. A lot of kids I've heard from recently do it because they're bored, because there's not enough activities going on for them. Unfortunately, ease of access, as Margaret was just talking about, it's very easy to vape. It's very easy to get your hands on these. Kids are really stressed out, not only with COVID, with the holidays, assignments at school. So they do it as a stress relief. And curiosity. So as much as you may think you're talking to your kids about vaping and not to vape, at the end of the day, kids are kids and they're just curious. So don't stop the conversation. Is secondhand smoke a problem in your schools? Absolutely. I was just at one of the local high schools with a group of kids and the subject came up about vaping. And I was really shocked to hear them say that they actually avoid going to the bathroom during the days because the smoke is so bad in the bathrooms. Imagine being a teenage girl and not using the bathroom all day long. I mean, that's just really, really disturbing. They also shared that the bus is filled with secondhand smoke. And unfortunately, they have to take the bus, so there's no way around it. So yeah, secondhand smoke is a real problem and it is affecting our kids.
Yeah, imagine if your kid has asthma, right? And they have to get on a bus and deal with that. And again, like Ben said, most of the kids aren't vaping. So a few kids are causing major problems for a lot of our kids.
Exactly. And the one other thing I meant to say is the fire drills. These kids that are vaping, they cause the fire alarm to go off and then the kids have to leave the school. So it's really affecting them in many levels.
So I alluded to this earlier, the industries that sell our kids vapes and cigarettes and aim different substances at them are trying to get them hooked young so they will be lifelong consumers. You should know that addiction is something that starts in youth. If I started drinking at this age now, I'm not really it's very unlikely that I'm going to develop a dependence. The younger a kid starts, and with vaping and marijuana, the stronger the product they use, the more likely they are to develop a substance use disorder. So every year that a kid waits before they try their first substance is a protective factor. It reduces the chance of any kind of addiction, any kind of substance dependence. So you really want to delay. Talk to kids about the fact that there's a reason that the legal age is 21. And they should protect their brains. Their brains are still developing until they are 25 or older. And a brain is a serious thing to waste, right? So when we say talk to your kids, I know as a parent of two teens, it doesn't always feel like they listen to you, but they do. So our 2021 youth survey showed that the kids who said their parents sent strong messages about not using substances were much less likely to use alcohol or marijuana. 8 times less likely to drink if you've been saying to them, I don't want you to do that. 4 times less likely to use marijuana if you've been saying to them, don't do that. So talk, they hear you. And in fact, there is a free app from the federal government called Talk, They Hear You. Totally recommend that you download that app. It's got conversation starters. It's got resources for you as parents. And it has information so you can educate yourself. So if your kids ask you a question, you don't know the answer, you'll be prepared. So mention prevention.
Another important tip with that is just integrating casual, informal conversations throughout the day. If you make a big deal about taking your kid aside and making it a whole formal judgmental production when you're trying to talk to them about it, it's less likely to sink in than if you're just honest with them multiple times throughout the day. You're just bringing it up whenever it's relevant, and you're really making an honest effort to be sincere with them and to let them know that what you're saying is just for their benefit. So just really hammering home that you're trying to prevent them from using substances because you have their best interest at heart.
And Ben, you just made me realize the other thing is it's not just about talk, they hear you. It's also, what are you role modeling, right? Are you coming home at the end of the day and showing that the only way you have to cope with stress is to grab, a beer or something like that? And have they seen you get behind the wheel of a car after you've been using a substance and they know that's not safe? So make sure that you're modeling the best behaviors. If you've had something, call an Uber. Say to your kids, I don't think it's safe for me to drive right now, and I don't want to put any of us at risk. So let's call an Uber, or let's use Wheels to You. Keep everyone safe.
So what are some tips for quitting? As you can see in the resource here and the next ones to come up, which you can feel free to screenshot and use at your convenience or share with other families and youth. There's plenty of ways that you can stop quitting, whether it's finding better coping skills, whether it's identifying what makes you want to use your vape or what triggers you. I also conduct a SMART group on Mondays where we provide our teens with resources and tools that help them not just quit vaping, but other things that might not be best in their life, whether it's procrastination or whatever. But you really have to start with identifying it and setting up a plan and doing it step by step, and knowing that you might go back to it but just pick yourself up again and continue to use your steps, and really finding those new coping skills and really identifying what triggers you to pick that vape up in the first place. So here are some resources again that you can feel free to take a screenshot. The text apps from I haven't used them, but I do know people that I've ran the group with, and also some of the kids, they do like it. They send frequent texts, they check on you, they ask about urges, you can text back. So it is really a support thing, and the texting, and it's something that you don't have to be literally on the phone. It's just a quick text, it's a quick check-in. You can respond back, and it's like a conversation And it's an added support system. So one thing about helping quit too is you really do need that support from your friends, your families, and tapping into those outlets that you have, whether it is your group leader, the teacher, principal, a mentor, but really having that support. So us as parents, really being a support to our child and actually hearing them. So yes, it's talk, but also listen, and don't be so quick to judge. Just listen and hear what they say, because we never know what is a trigger. And sometimes we can be a trigger without even knowing it or meaning to. And then again, this is another resource that you can use. Quick to vape. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, quit vape. But again, just make sure that you share these, screenshot it, share it on your Facebook, follow us on Facebook. We share multiple different resources on our Facebook, and it's something that you could look at your convenience and watch this again or show it to your kids or your other family members, and just get the word out about how important vaping is and how harmful it is, especially to our youth. And again, just being a big support to, not only your children, but the other children surrounding you.
And the screen doesn't show Diamond's Smart Teen group that she mentioned, but that is a free group on Mondays. And if your kid wants to attend that group for help with making positive changes in their life, it meets almost every Monday from 4 to 5:30 at the Youth Business Initiative. The information is on the norwalkpartnership.org. When you go to the blog page, you can find information there. And there are other free support groups too. So please visit our website, subscribe, like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you all so much, and be safe. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, it is.